You wondered how much I work? It's pretty much all the time. Hey, it's Tom from Tom's Toons, and we're in the early part of June. You're gonna follow us along here for a weekend. It's Saturday morning. Banks just got her spay done a couple days ago, so she's sad and wearing a sort of cone of shame. It's 9:36 right now. We got kind of a big weekend of work. If you wondered how much I work, it's pretty much all the time. Got a boat torn down here. That happened a couple days ago. This is the boat that is into us from Iowa. I'm going to be cranking on getting these railings bolted down today, permanently fixed in place. That way I can get my seats in place and my seamstress can start on seat covers on Monday. So that's my Saturday here at the shop. As soon as Corey gets back from up north, she was helping her sister out, we're shooting down about an hour south. A boat we restored is a 1995 Riviera Cruiser a couple years ago. I'll put the link to that video. It's a two-part series in here. I don't know if it'll be right here, but it'll be somewhere around here. We're going to go down and repower that. His old 75 Mariner two-stroke. We ran into him recently, and he said, I need a new motor. I'm ready. Let's do this. So I picked up a 40 high-thrust Mercury. It's going to kind of plug and play with his setup. We'll show you bits and pieces of that when we get there. And then Sunday, tomorrow, we volunteered ourselves to head up a couple hours north and help a gentleman. He's 80 years old, working on his own project, restoring his pontoon boat. He just bought a brand new 60 horsepower high thrust Yamaha. We're going to help him install that, put a new transom on his boat, reinforce the deck, and then deck and vinyl it all tomorrow. We'll have some video in here of that as well. I'm going to get to work. Follow us along this weekend. Got the Merc 40 command thrust in the back of Earl over here, and we're gonna strap it down. As soon as Corey gets here, we're gonna rock and roll. I gotta go do a little bit of welding real quick to prepare for tomorrow, building a couple of trays for the back of the pontoon boat for the gas tank and the battery. So I'm gonna strap this down and then we'll get back and do a little welding before Corey gets back. So here's what I gotta weld here. This is the gas tank. It'll fit in this tray. Been wanting to do it for a long time. I went and bought a little tiny tank of argon, so we'll take that up with us. We got to weld a bracket. This little guy is going to go on the back for a transducer, so we'll, I guess, put that on the back, give something to screw a transducer for fish finder, depth finder into. So I do got to take my TIG welder up there. Never done that before, never taken it on the road, so I'm kind of excited. It runs on 110. It'll be plenty of heat to get into that. I think that's 100 thousandths, and then the pontoon itself is probably 80 thousandths, if that. So these are the trays. Just had them bent up at the local metal shop. Nothing fancy here. One of these days I'll get a finger brake or a press brake. They didn't do me any favors. Left me a nice gap there. That one's a little better. Not perfect. But we'll go ahead, we'll fill that in. I'm gonna TIG weld them real quick here. Get this done. Got 2 of them to do. Hopefully before Corey gets back. And she'll be extra happy with me. Let's knock these out. If you didn't see the video we shared, I think it was last week, of this 16-foot boat build here. We're building it for our brother-in-law, gifting it to him. He's retiring from the Marine Corps after 20 years of service, 5 deployments. He's the perfect example of our military and the people who protect our freedoms. So as we mentioned in that video, we need your help. We've covered the boat costs, but we just got in this brand new Mercury 60 horse. Basically that motor we just picked up, we gotta start paying for it. And any contribution that comes into the channel right now through the links in the description of this video, however much you could afford to give, that's all going into this project to cover the motor and the trailer costs. So we got a long ways to go in this. So there's my beg, there's my ask. If our channel's helped you out, maybe you found it entertaining, maybe we've taught you some things, saved you a couple trips to the marina where you would have had to pay to get things fixed, maybe consider contributing for that fact. Maybe I've answered your phone call or an email of a question that you couldn't figure out and we're able to get you in the right direction. There's another reason. Otherwise, you're helping a veteran out by getting this boat put together for him, and you're a part of that. So again, that's the big ask. Please consider contributing if you haven't already.
Tommy, what are you doing?
Taking this old 75 Mariner off. Quick and easy though, if you take a peek over here. If you're ever working on these, we're gonna reuse, these are new cables. When we redid this boat, we put a new control box on it and stuff. But this is a really easy mechanism. This is our throttle. We're gonna pull that right out. It is a pull to open throttle, so this will line right up with the brand new Mercury that's in Earl. So the throttle cable, same thing. So one of the really cool things going from, this is a Mercury motor. It's a Mariner, but Mercury. This runs an 8-pin ignition harness. This runs up to the dash for the key switch, the gauges, everything. This can stay. So if you're replacing a motor, doing it yourself, or having a dealer do it, you can keep your old ignition harness, your controls, as long as they all match up with the motor. And all we got to do is throw in, this is a Mercury. You can pause it right now and get that part number if you need it. But this is an adapter that's going to allow me to run that 8-pin and my trim and tilt to a 14-pin, which is going to go to the new motor. So all I have to do, aside from hooking up the shift throttle controls, I connect that, and then I plug in my green for grass, down for trim and tilt. I can connect my brown and white wire, my tan wires. Everything plugs and plays. You can only plug it in one way. You got a male and a female side. And then my blue for up, blue for the sky, for trim. So now I've got all my electrical ready to plug into the new motor. The other thing that stays the same is the steering cable. So we'll take this out, we'll clean it, re-grease it, put it into the new motor. I'm gonna unbolt this, get it off, and we'll get the new motor on. Oh, this is bad.
What is it? Don't
like,
tell me. I don't. Is it a mouse?
It's a bird.
Ew. How did a bird get in there?
Put that bird in this battery box. Oh. And I'm afraid to say, I think it's screwed to the deck. It's just, well, it's full of water.
You got rags.
You got like 2 players. Rocking and rolling. It's early morning. Well, 7 o'clock. Hitting the road, heading a couple hours north to Beulah, Michigan. We're gonna go help Mr. Bill get some stuff done on his boat. At the engine hoist, we call this tow mater. It's a Cars reference, in case you didn't know. I can see my breath. It's a little chilly morning here in Michigan. Let's get some work done today. So to give you the little backstory on this trip, we got the 40 horse high thrust installed yesterday. That was Saturday. It's Sunday morning. We're heading up to this little town called Beulah in northwest Michigan. Golly, if you're anywhere near Michigan, you get the chance, you got to get north in the summer. It is so beautiful the farther north you go, really. To give you the backstory on this trip and what we're doing today, Mr. Bill reached out just with some general questions. We get a lot of that. And we got just chatting back and forth, a couple emails, and turns out Bill took on this project. Bill's 80 years old, or darn near 80 years old, and this kind of stuff, tearing a boat down, putting it all back together, it's not easy physical labor, we'll just say that. Naturally, Corey looked at me and said, why don't we just go help him? And so that's where everything started. I emailed Bill and I said, hey, what if we just come up and give you a day of our time to get you as far along with the rough stuff? That's the story. That's what we're doing. We'll do some filming along the way up there. Probably not as much as I wanted to. I didn't bring my tripod, and I left the GoPro at home. Also, Corey was going to come up and help, but we just inherited some chickens back at the old homestead, and the chicken coop that we started wasn't done. And we got these 4 chickens. We're getting a few more coming up pretty soon. So Corey took the day to finish up the chicken coop, give our chickens a safe home. That's it. I'm going to get up to Mr. Bill's house, and we're going to get his boat moving right along, getting it come back together. I think we made it to the lake. Let's go see what we're working with. It's an old boat. Let's go check it out. Here is the boat. 1977 Harris float boat. First things up, we got to get transducer mount here for a depth finder. And then we're going to reinforce some cross members and get the transom bolted in so we can start with the floor. We got the deck on, transom's bolted on. Right now we're getting some scrap aluminum essentially that we're gonna reinforce these with, which kind of detached here, cracked all up. So both sides, and this one's missing half of it. So we're gonna get the welder back out and weld these and just get them back to good, and then some by reinforcing them. What a cool day. What a cool way to spend a weekend. We got a ton done today. Family was there, chipped in, tons of help. So grateful for that. And we were able to get a lot done. We got that boat, new transom on, ready for that 60 horse. Got the 60 horse hung, got the deck and vinyl on, did a lot of welding to get that boat ready to go. And the coolest part That boat's been in the family since it was new in 1977. You don't hear that too often. And they're giving it new life. It's been redone once, but now it's good for hopefully another close to 50 years. But again, awesome people, great way to spend my Sunday and just pass along a little bit of my knowledge to them and help them with their project. Hopefully this video has been entertaining for you to watch and follow me along on a weekend full of work, but it's all fun stuff. I get to say that I love what I do. Still work some days, but golly, I do love it. It gives me a lot of joy. So I appreciate you watching, tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.